Blazing arpeggio. It was around last year. We had a friend that went missing for almost a week. We weren't really that close, and he lives in a campus dorm, so I really didn't know till that night. My housemate saw a report from the university's FB page that there were a couple of bodies found in a spring at the far edge of the campus. Our university is located beside a mountain. We all started to worry, especially when I learned that he really had been missing. We were anxious for news to come, and when the reports of the initial ID came in, we were shocked. He was one of them. The report misspelled his last name, but we knew it was him. Panic mode. My housemates and I went out to meet with his dormmates, while I called a couple of our friends that went straight to the springs. They weren't able to see him there, since when they got there, the police already took the bodies for autopsy. At that point, we couldn't do anything but wait for further news. It turns out that the two of them went swimming there the weekend before and drowned. Their bodies got really bloated from being soaked for days, and crustaceans started to eat away their skins. It really seemed at first that it was a frat initiation gone bad, because they both looked like they were covered in lashes. It's a very fucked up way to die. R.I.P. Kevin, Jimman 4-20. I was running my cable route in the inner city. Between jobs, I realized I had to shit now. Unfortunately, the nearest quick trip is like 5 miles away. Tired 367 light years in city travel, so I gamble and hit the nearest gas station. I get there, and of course there's a line to the one unisex bathroom. A dude, a chick, and myself are hanging around making small talk, but mentally I am an absolute shit-squeezing wreck. After about 5 minutes, the dude goes into full-on rage panic and starts trying to rip the door open, making the most demonic screeches. The woman in the bathroom is freaking out. The chick next to me is freaking out, and just as I step in to give him a WTF bro, it was like he got hit with a jolt of electricity and fell. Luckily I caught him, but at this point I realize he's having a seizure. I cannot describe the feeling I felt looking into this gentleman's eyes, crying blood, foaming at the mouth and flailing about that I was just having a conversation with. The elderly woman in the restroom happens to be a retired nurse, go figure, and promptly instructs bystanders and I how to handle the situation, and the paramedics arrive towards the end of his fit. Turns out his alcoholicism was linked with his epilepsy or some shit, and he was waiting in line to sneak a swig of the flask in his coat pocket. Info from his wife. Never would have expected it. Dude seemed cool as fuck, well-dressed and groomed, all that jazz. The ordeal ends and I tell the woman it's her turn to use the restroom, to which she declines from being freaked the fuck out. I, however, drop the most contemplated and beautiful deuce in the dirtiest bathroom of the metro area. Maybe it's not that scary, but seizures scare the brother-loving piss out of me. And I think some people's personal lives are too much for me. This is one of 2 insane instances where I happen to be in the wrong place at the right time due to minor unusual route delays. Dynamic solo. I had a similar experience. I know how you felt. I was working at a mechanic shop, and this day everyone had called out sick except me and the manager. Our truck delivery guy pulls in, backs up to the garage door to drop off tires. Everything goes well, like every other delivery he has done. I am doing my normal, hey, how are you today? Weather sucks, nice, moderate, whatever, while I am signing the receipt. I notice he isn't responding to me, so I look up and he is looking into the sky like he was scratching his head, but stopped mid-stroke. Looks like he saw a ghost or something, so I look up, don't see anything. Hey, you alright? He then slowly starts falling back stiff as a board. Holy shit. I drop papers and do my best to catch him. I was a weak stick figure and he was a husky man. I didn't succeed in stopping his fall. Flat on his back, head smacked the pavement. Seizure begins. I grab hold of his hand and neck, not knowing what the fuck to do but yell out my manager's name to call 911. He was foaming and spitting all over me, eyes rolled back. I didn't care he was spitting in my face. I just kept holding on to him, staring at him, hoping that would help. I didn't know what else to do. I just kept worrying for this man that he was going to die in my hands, and there was nothing I could have done. He eventually stopped and immediately woke up. He had no idea what was going on, but he knew who me and my manager were, which was good, so he didn't flip out. Ambulance shows up and takes him away. I tried to go to the hospital when I got off work to visit him, but they had already sent him home. I just kept thinking, holy shit, I'm glad he is okay. And what if that had happened while he was driving? Holly Holden. My boyfriend has epilepsy. That shit is scary. He hasn't had a seizure with me yet because his medicine is really awesome, but I have no idea how I would deal if he did. He told me before we lived together all the typical stuff: lay him on his side, don't try to put anything in his mouth, wait 5 minutes before calling an ambulance. When I moved in, we talked about it more, and I told him I wanted to watch a video of someone seizing to be prepared better. The video itself wasn't scary, but imagining him like that is just horrifying. It's not like in movies at all. The person just looks so helpless but volatile at the same time, like a rabid dog tied up or something. TBH, I don't think I'll be able to wait 5 minutes to call 911 if he has one with me. Buckfast69. Yeah, it's really weird to witness. One of my best friends has a very serious chronic epilepsy that has no triggers. He literally could, at the worst of it, maybe have 1 or 2 seizures a day. He didn't even go home afterwards most of the time due to how regular they became. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty scary at first. I think for me the weirdest thing is their sudden lack of consciousness. All of a sudden, emergency situation and you're alone. One good thing is that there really isn't much you can do wrong. Like you said, you can turn them on their side or put a pillow/shirt jack under their head to prevent further damage from trashing. The only other things you can really do for really bad fits is attempt to identify the victim's tongue without touching it, obviously, in order to make sure they haven't swallowed it, and pinch their earlobe to try get a response from them. This is obviously particularly helpful to identify if the victim is okay, if they had a particularly bad fall and hit their head. I used to always talk to my friend while he was unconscious, just reassuring him, holding his hand, etc. I'm not sure that does anything, but I'd like to think it calms them subconsciously. At least it kept me calm. Man for 20. One night on my way home from work, around 11 p.m., my mom texted me and asked me if I could pick up some milk on the way home. Super unusual, but what the hell? I'm always up for an adventure. Little did I know what this milk gathering adventure would entail. So I get the milk, blaze a bowl, and I'm headed home on a back road with some small turns and moderate hills with 3 cars traveling in a pack a few hills ahead of me. Then out of nowhere, I see these lights illuminating the cornfield to the right, go up into the sky, and then light up the plain to my left. My strange music was up way too loud to hear the happenings, but I seriously thought I was about to get abducted by aliens. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So I pass a couple hills and have a laugh at myself for being a dumbass. As I'm coming around the bend, I see this car in the ditch upside down, wheels still spinning, and the other 2 cars in the pack continuing up the road. Still haunts me to this day. Why in God's left-handed fuck wouldn't they stop? I end up passing it out of awe and had to flip a bitch up the road. I pull up, flip my high beams and hazards on, and run over to the car and immediately start checking for fuel leaks. Was none. And I round the car to find this girl covered in blood, 4 feet away from the car. In my head, I'm thinking, oh God, she's dead. Fuck, shit, she's dead. When I reach down to check for a pulse, she lets out this giant bloody gasp for air, and I about shit my pants. She sees me and starts reaching. I'm like, relax, just hold still. As I'm accessing her injury, she's telling me about a baby squirrel. And she swerved, and in my brain I get that she's a sweet, innocent girl. But is a squirrel worth your life? Ugh. So I figure she's probably okay to move. I pull her over to the driveway about 8 feet away, in the light and on a flat surface, and call 911. I grab one of my friend's hoodies out of my truck and put it under her head. I'm comforting her and talking to her, and she asked me to call her mom and boyfriend. She was leaving the BFS house. So I talked to them, went a lot better than expected. The owner of the driveway comes out 10 minutes later and is like, "The fuck happened?" After I explain he feels the need to go get his wife and kids. People start driving by asking if they can do anything. One lady actually gave me her phone number so I could update her afterwards. I suddenly realize how calm this young girl is being. Laying there, struggling to breathe, covered in blood, talking to me as she weren't in severe pain or that anything had happened. It was amazing. I don't even know why it was so amazing, but it just blew my mind. The driveway guy shows up. I ask him to stay with her while I start clearing the road. Books, papers, clothes, shoes, purse, spare tire, headlight, taillight, shards of glass, a mirror, damn near everything but the seats flew out of this bitch. Shortly after, the paramedics show up and posted on my truck, G as can be. Baggy-ish clothes and shit, not a friendly appearance. Her mom pulls up behind me and she jumps out like, "Who the fuck are you?" I'm the guy you spoke on the phone with, and gave her the number of the concerned woman. She just kind of scoffs, runs over and starts getting in the paramedics' way. I get it. I'm a parent myself, but don't fuck with these guys. They can do a much better job than you. I see this as a splendid opportunity to fire up a cigarette from afar, give all the troopers all the information I can give, and then the BF pulls up. "Who the fuck are you?" "Really?" So we do that whole spiel again, but this time it's different. Dude hugs me, crying, and thanks me. I didn't even know how to respond. It was a solid bromance, very positive. So the coppers give me the go-ahead to split, and I walk over to the girl on the stretcher. She grabs my hand and whispers, "Thank you." I just smile and head to my truck. I still kick myself in the ass for not getting her name or anything. I'm fairly certain she's okay though. Boils down to 16. Yo girl, swerved for a squirrel. Rolled 3 times, broken ribs, was wearing a seatbelt and crawled out of the open window before she passed out. Had I not stopped to get milk, she would have been laying in the field for roughly 15-20 minutes. Moral of the story, don't swerve for animals. Quit leaving your goddamn clothes in my truck or I will get blood on them, and for fuck's sakes, just help people.